From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by Conecuh Sausage, a true Southern flavor since 1947, and the official smoked sausage of the Crimson Tide. Visit online at ConecuhSausage.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NBA awards, Draymond Green, the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year at -110. Rudy Gobert behind him at +175. Tyler Hero -600 for Sixth Man of the Year. Kelly Oubre at +1600 for Most Improved Player. Ja Morant the -300 favorite. Miles Bridges at +650. The 2022 Farmers Insurance Open underway today. John Rahm the favorite +700. Justin Thomas at +1600. Xander Schauffele third best odds at +1800. NFL Conference Championships on Sunday. The Cincinnati Bengals getting 7 points at Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs, hosting their fourth straight title game, and the LA Rams a 3.5-point favorite at home against the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we do say welcome into another brand new live edition of Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you until 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. Got a lot of stuff to get to, but as always, we invite you to be a part of the fun, be a part of the show. 256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the conversation this morning. College basketball from last night, SEC, Alabama, Auburn in play. Major League Baseball news, the 2020 Major League Baseball Hall of Fame class announced yesterday. Created a lot of controversy, a lot of conversation. Could Alabama be losing a freshman running back? We'll kind of fill you in there. Some crazy stuff on Twitter. It's always fun to read some of these speculation things. Bill O'Brien's name being mentioned. Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl's name being mentioned. It's funny. We'll fill you in on all of that as the show kind of rolls along. But another wild night in SEC basketball play. We're about 9 to 10 points away from being a completely chaotic Wednesday night on SEC hardwood, but instead it was more of a wild night. For the first time in program history, the Auburn Tigers play as a number one ranked team on the road in Columbia. Knew it was going to be a challenge, knew it was going to be a tough one. Missouri, they take on the epitome, they take on the role of their head coach. Conzo Martin, a physical player, was back in his day at Purdue. And that Missouri team is physical. They pushed Auburn around quite a bit, banged them. They bodied, traded blows last night. Auburn prevails 55-54. Jabari Smith, his lowest offensive output of the season, just 4 points, but does have 11 rebounds. KD Johnson, a big night for the Tigers. Walker Kessler, a big night, double-double, 13 points, 12 rebounds. But Auburn savvy enough to prevail on the road last night.
Yep. KD Johnson basically wouldn't let him lose. He had a game-high 17. You talked about Walker Kessler having 13 points and 12 boards. They win at 55-54. I've said it before. Missouri is really tough at home.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a really good team at home. And now Auburn's got a target on their back because they're the number one team in the country, best team in the SEC. But when you're a championship team, you find ways to win. Willie Green was off. He only had 6 points. It was 2 of 9. Probably the best sixth man in the SEC. So as you already mentioned, Jabari Smith, 2 of 15, 1 of 7 from 3, 5 points, but he did have 11 rebounds. But the biggest thing is they found a way to win in the last couple of minutes, 55-54. So they stay unbeaten in the SEC. I believe they've won 16 games in a row. So credit to Auburn. Now they have an interesting matchup at home in Auburn Arena against OU and Porter Mosier on Saturday. But the biggest thing is they survive and advance, unlike Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama last night. Now, we were joking yesterday with Brian Pasick because, honestly, when we were sitting here, we thought, because it had been since February. I didn't realize it had been that long. Since February of 2021 that Georgia had won a conference game. They'd lost 8 straight. We were halfway joking with Brian Pasick saying, hey, if they don't win tonight, you can blame us because, we're having fun with the interview. And Drew, that the same problems that have bugabooed Alabama, whether it be lack of effort or just not being on the same page, it all kind of came to a culmination last night in the second half. The first half, Alabama led at half. The second half, things just kind of fell apart for Alabama on that road at Georgia.
Well, they were up 42-36 at half. They ended the first half on a 23-9 run. They got off to a little bit of a slow start. They were down by 8 points, but they fought back and really controlled the first half. Jaden Shackelford had 16 at the half. I mean, he hit 5 threes, 5 out of 7. So he was shooting the ball well. It looked like Alabama had a really nice opportunity to win. They came out of the locker room, got a 3-point play from J.D. Davison. They were up 45-36 on the road. But Georgia quickly responded, tied the game. Then it had 48, and pretty much after that, it was a back-and-forth game for the rest of the game. And Alabama did lead 63-58, had the ball with about 7 minutes to go, did not score, and then basically Georgia dominated it 24-13 from that point forward, and ended up winning the game, last night on the road. And I even made this statement when I saw the halftime score. And in all due respect, I did not see the game. I was at Huntsville High School, but I was following it closely, and I was like, if Alabama gets to 80, they're going to win on the road. I was like, but they did not. They lose 82-76. They didn't get it done. They did not play very good defense the second half. The biggest thing is everybody wants to talk about 9 of 34 from 3. That ain't what it's about, okay? That ain't what it's about with this group. The things that they don't do is the little things. They didn't defend well in the second half. They did rebound in this game, okay, because they've had trouble rebounding at times. They won the rebound battle 41-32. But what they didn't do is in the second half is take care of the freaking basketball. They ended up with 19 turnovers in the game. Georgia scored 23 points off of turnovers in the second half. That's what lost the game. Alabama was very sloppy with the basketball.
From the bench either. Georgia's bench outscored Alabama's bench.
Yeah, they did because Javon Quinterly was not good because he had a lot of these turnovers. He went 2 for 9 from the floor and only 1 for 7 from 3. And for the formula with this group is they need their guards to produce. Now, Shackelford didn't have a great second half, but still scored 20 points and, was 6 of 9 from 3. He did his job. But you didn't get Quinterly laid a turd. He had 5 points, and then you didn't get a ton out of J.D. Davison. He ends up with 7 points and several turnovers. Because when you look at it, and that's what I was looking at last night. I was like, I wanted to see, the turnover numbers. J.D. Davison, he ends up, with only, as I said, 7 points. He had 2 turnovers. But then you look down here, at Javon Quinterly, he had 2 more himself. But they have 19 as a group. And I'm just saying, you can't have all these live ball turnovers that they've got. Because the way they play offense, if you can control the basketball and not turn it over, say you have, instead of 19 turnovers, if you do your job, say you have 9, 8, 9, 10, you cut it down almost by half. That means almost 7, 8 more possessions, 9 possessions. And more possessions means more shots, means more than likely you're going to make some of those shots, whether it be threes or twos, or either get to the free throw line, and you're going to score points. And that means a reverse. That means probably this is a guesstimation on the turnovers. But say you take a point of turnover.
Well, even if you take 5 turnovers, I mean, if a team commits 10 or 11 turnovers a game, you can live with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's 7 or 8 less turnovers I'm talking about.
Yes.
That would turn into more than likely 8 or 9 or 10 more points, and then you turn around and Alabama scores 76, you've got 86, and you win the game, which is how many points did they score against Missouri last game? 86.
Right.
If Alabama gets to 80 points, they win the game. They didn't, and now they're the first team to lose to Georgia. And again, you give Tom Crean's team credit. They severely outplayed Alabama in the second half.
All right, here is a little bit of a disheartened Nate Oates from last night.
His opening statement, and then we'll go ahead and open it up to a few questions after that. Coach,
first of all, I apologize for taking as long as we did. I didn't mean to have you guys sit there. So that's some stuff in the locker room. But disappointing loss, obviously, with Georgia being winless in the SEC. We continue to have these issues with playing up and down the level of our competition. We had today. I think we got outscored in the last 2 media segments by 10. I think it was 24-14. So last game we didn't have good starts. This game we didn't close well. Turnovers were a major problem. The biggest problem is just our energy, our effort. As a head coach, stuff comes back on me, and I got to figure out how to put the right guys on the floor that care about their teammates and going to play hard for them. And I've obviously not done a great job figuring out how to do that so far this year.
Just a little bit of Nate Oates after the loss last night to Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with him. I mean, he's wearing it. It's his responsibility. He's the head coach. But if you look at Alabama's losses, Scott, Alabama's 13-7 right now. 6 of their losses are by 6 points or less. And that's 1, 2, and 3 possessions.
Yeah.
They're just not doing those little things right. Everybody's making too big a deal out of the shooting part. A lot of the hot takes on Twitter, and most of them are stupid, are like, well, this team's not a good 3-point shooting team. They've got to stop shooting 3. Morons are like, well, he's just not a good coach. He's not sound because he tells them not to take 2s, blah, blah, blah. If they get 1 point in practice for taking a shot from the, just inside the 3 line or at the mid-range shot. Look, man, it's not about that. It's about defending and rebounding and taking care of the ball. Because if you do that, you have more possessions, and then you got a chance for more 3s to go in, or whether it's a layup at the rim or a getting fouled and going to the free throw line and converting. It's about possessions, man. And they haven't done a good enough job taking care of the ball. And again, they're not getting blown out, as I just told you. The only double-digit loss was to Memphis, and really that got away late. It was really a close game. They're just not finishing games. They don't have a ton of leadership on the floor. They're really missing Herb Jones, John Petty, But
at this
Alex
point
Reese,
in the season, though, somebody
Bruner.
should be stepping
yeah,
up.
and that's what Coach is saying. In effect, they got to have somebody step up and say, like a KD Johnson. He's in his first year with Auburn. But he says, man, we're not losing this game.
Yeah, at some point, we're
Somebody has to
beyond that
step
point.
up.
Yeah, those guys aren't coming back now. I mean, so at this point, someone should be stepping up, needs to be stepping up. And at this point, it's on them. It's on the players to figure out and take that next step and get it done.
No doubt.
All right, let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough with us on a Wednesday. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, I watched you tell you last night we can't play defense either. And they don't know how to play defense or how to guard nobody. 31 and 34 saves, 1 minute for them too. They'd have lost. I watched the overtime, about 5-6 minutes of it. How they're if you're up 16 and rough, you better blow somebody out.
I was surprised by that too, Jeff. I didn't see the game either. I'll be freely. I was not at home, but I did follow it. And at one time, UK was up 53-38. I thought it was going to be over in Rupp. I was shocked when I found out later it had to be an overtime game.
Well, they couldn't stop nobody, and 34 and 31 saved their butts. I mean, 31 the first 3 he hits it overtime. He's wide open, and the second one he had to throw up there because there was 1 or 2 seconds on the shot clock, and he made it. I mean, how he made it, I don't know. And 34 saved our butts. He had 21 points and 22 rebounds first 2020 games since the late Mike Phillips in '76 when they won the NIT. So, I mean, Kentucky's not that good. I mean, Calipari's got to have some Pepto-Bismol in the locker room. Take Rolaids. It probably makes him sick. Watch him play defense. But they don't guard nobody. They couldn't get in front of number one. They couldn't stop him at all. I mean, he did whatever he wanted to do. And they had 4 double figures. Thank goodness they wouldn't have won the ball game. But, Auburn barely survives. And I still don't know how in the world y'all lost to Georgia. I don't understand.
Just a terrible second half, Jeff. It's what happens when it's almost what you talked about with the Kentucky. You said they just couldn't guard anybody. Alabama struggled to guard them, but they just couldn't take care of the ball. When you're throwing it all over the gym and you're giving Georgia all these opportunities to score, in transition and score 23 points off turnovers. Georgia's not a great offensive team, and when you give them those kind of opportunities and they end up with 4 and 5 in double figures with balanced scoring, you're going to be in trouble. Now, I will say this though: if you go back and look at it, because of COVID last year, Alabama and Georgia played late in the season a second time at Georgia, and Georgia almost won that one. And they had a better team last year. They had K.D. Johnson. They had Xavier Wheeler. But what happened was this time in the final 3 or 4 minutes, Alabama stepped up and made big shots. Keon Ellis made a 3. Alabama was up 3 points with Georgia coming back hard, and he made a 3 with a little over a minute to go to put them up 6 to really ice it. And Alabama didn't have that this time. They didn't have anybody. What Scott just said, they don't have anybody to step up and make a big play. And right now, they just can't win on the road. I don't see this Alabama team winning much on the road. They've only lost 1 game at home to Auburn, who's number 1 in the country. But now they got a brutal stretch coming up because they've got your UK Wildcats. But before that, they got Baylor and then Auburn on the road. So this is going to be really tough for them.
Bama has played up better than playing down.
One final major, I was going.
Sure.
I don't know if you do this or not, but the kid down here, George James, decommitted from Georgia. He went to Oregon last weekend to visit, and they say Florida and Notre Dame's after him hard. So I don't know what he's going to do. I guess he'll decide next week what he's going to do about where he's going to play his college football at.
Yeah.
He decommitted from Georgia, I guess, over the weekend when they redid it. I don't know. I just found out about it yesterday. So, but I don't know what he'll do as far as college ball and the stuff like that. I know next week's the big deal recruiting. Everybody's going to side football wise and all that kind of stuff. But and SEC Big 12. I was bold to call up Sagan Ladies calling off. We don't need to fool with that. It's a bunch of mess. We don't need to fool with it. But I know everybody's going to have fun watching it, I guess. But it's really nobody cares. I'm glad you think you won last night because Saturday don't matter for Kentucky. But y'all hang in there, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, Saturday does too. But see, look, and I'll say this. And Jeff is sitting here, and I know his feelings on this, and that is he is not a fan. But if you are Alabama right now, you're going into this game, you are not playing well because you can say you're not playing well because you're coming off this loss against Georgia. You need a good quad 1 win. Yes, you got Kentucky on the horizon, you got Auburn on the horizon, but this is a chance to go out of conference right now when you are
in the spotlight,
coming off a bad loss.
Yeah.
You have a chance to take out the number 3 in a matter of a week. You could take out the number 3 team. You could take out the number 1 team. You've got a national in Kentucky. This could be an upswing. This is why I think it's great to play this in the middle of the season. And Seth Greenberg said, hey, it's okay for the fans, the coaches. It drives them crazy because you're out of your rhythm preparing for a conference opponent.
Preparing for a league, league opponent. Yeah.
So anyway, I do like it.
And again, not every team is playing in this Big 12 challenge,
but because there's only 12.
The majority
teams.
Of them are.
You can only have 12 of the 14 SEC teams play because of.
And Kentucky is playing Kansas in Fog Island because they are the standard bearer, and so is Kansas in the league traditionally. Yeah. And Alabama, because they were a top 10 team last year and the SEC champion. They're playing Baylor, who happened to win the national championship.
Yep. It doesn't matter to Kentucky because they're bracing themselves, because if they lose, they talk themselves into the fact that it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll just say this. For Alabama, you're right. They could easily come out of this 13-10, and if they did that, if they lose 3 in a row, their tournament hopes will be on life support.
Right.
If they could somehow win 2 out of 3, then you're right in the middle of the tournament conversation, because 2 of those wins, as you just talked about, will be against quality opponents, no matter which of the 2 it is.
And if you can get those, it takes away this Georgia. I know this Georgia loss stings, but
and 2 of them are at home, and they've only lost 1 game at home, and that was to Auburn that they could have easily won. They've not been good on the road because this team doesn't know how to close. But it'll be interesting to see. Nate, you heard Nate Oates. You just played the locker room conversation. But what he was talking about was, Scott, it took him 45 minutes. The Zoom was just really late, and because he was in the locker room so long having heart-to-heart conversation with his team about when are we going to show up, when are we going to, basically start playing like we're supposed to play. And so, again, they took a long time having a heart-to-heart with the team because of the way they played that second half against Georgia where they laid a turd.
Let's get to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Did you see that video I tagged y'all in from that property I saw the other day?
Well, what it looked like hoarders from A&E. I'll just be honest with you.
Exactly what it looked like.
That's the first thing that went through my head.
Well, that was actually me on the way to cover the Baseball Hall of Fame vote.
Oh,
I just didn't want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
That was me.
That was a disaster.
That's exactly what that was.
Yeah, we haven't even had a chance to get to that. We've broken down basketball this morning. We have not had a chance to get to that.
Well, I want to say about the Alabama game. I watched it last night.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed that Charles Bediakos is not more of a part of this game. I do get a little mad when they just continue to try to shoot the 3 when it didn't go. And I would have gave them a steady dose of him in the post, and I'd have said, look, we're going to do one of 2 things. Either you're going to shoot a whole lot of foul shots, or we're going to put some elbows in faces and some points over some people's heads. And we just don't seem to want to do that. And maybe that's me looking at an old-school style of basketball, but when the 3s ain't falling, let's get in there and beat and bang and bust some heads and see what we can do. And let's force the ball into the lane and make our big guy be prevalent over these guys. Let's make them fight us in the paint sometimes. And if we have to win a fist fight of a game tight like that, let's give it a shot. But I'm sick of these games. All these games are winnable. Georgia's garbage. There's no excuse for losing to that team. None of these games should have been lost. Like the game we had against Missouri, they're a hell of a team. To do what they did to Auburn, keep them in the 50s and fight them, I felt like we played against Missouri, who's extremely physical, very well, but then we go out here against Georgia and just crap it down our leg, and I don't get it. I don't understand whether it's X's and O's or guys just being lazy with the ball like Drew's talking about.
But lazy with the ball, man. Yeah.
It seems like all correctable mistakes if you've got a serious attitude. But I feel like I said a couple weeks ago, I felt like Bediakos makes a difference in the game when he's used the right way. And I just wonder, why are we not using that guy and using his size advantage to try to gain us something on nights where we can't knock the lights out?
Well, because the guards aren't taking care of the ball, man. Because they need to – if they're taking care of the ball, if they're making the right decisions, maybe Bediako touches it. But if you're throwing it all over the gym and you got 19 turnovers and you're giving up all these transition points to Georgia and allowing them to – because when you have live ball turnovers and you give up 23 points on turnovers, that means that Georgia's getting out in the open floor and they're getting easy conversions. That's what that means.
All right, Brandon, I hate to do it to you, but we got to get moving, brother.
Good stuff.
All right, let's get we got to get to a break. Let's get to that break, because when we come back, John Shulman going to join us as we look ahead to tonight's UAH Showdown.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're back to a clean slate now. Haven't found anything new accident-wise. Had a couple at Finley Island and Highway 20. One of those with injuries. They both should be clear now. The big box is back at Popeyes. You get 2 pieces of that Louisiana seasoned chicken or 3 tenders, 2 sides and a biscuit for $6. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dip and Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hey man, this is John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church. Hey, whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal on the 1-yard line or you're sitting at 2nd and 26, there's things that can be learned which will help us grow in our marriages and grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married, single, or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Cross Point Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. From today's headlines to the guests you want to hear from.
Who wants to party?
Listen in and join in. Weekday afternoons starting at 5. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you until 9 a.m. Time for us to bring in our first guest of the morning. And he was in a down mood Saturday as the UAH Chargers fell 107-97 in overtime on the road at Auburn Montgomery. The good news for the Chargers, they're back at home for a pair of games, Drew. Away from Spraggins Hall, they're just 2-5. Inside Spraggins Hall this season, they're 8-1. So the good news is the UAH Chargers get a chance to play a pair at home starting tonight and on Saturday.
Yes, there's no question about it. They've been tremendous inside Spraggins Hall. I mean, even in the loss to Union, they could have easily won that game. They've played, their best basketball inside the friendly confines. It's heartbreaking that they didn't finish the game that they had in their hands, against Auburn Montgomery this past weekend. But this is a young group that's learning how to win. And we always enjoy our conversations with our next guest on our weekly conversations, and that is with the third-year head coach of the UAH Chargers. That's John Shulman, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, I've got to ask you, we just talked about Alabama and their missed opportunities on the road. You've talked to us about winning on the road. If you do that, it's like heaven. How does a young team learn how to win on the road?
Well, you just got to do it. Just be honest, you just got to figure out a way to get it done. We've talked about this. Is it bad karma? Is it bad luck? It may just be that we're not doing enough right things. You talk about probably on the road, you're probably down 8 before the game starts. So you got to play better on the road. You got to get more stops. You got to be more disciplined defensively. I watched the Alabama game last night. I don't know if Georgia scored. They maybe scored one field goal in the last 4 minutes. All Alabama did was foul. And so you got to be smart on the road. You got to be tougher on the road. And you got to be, listen, you just told me our record. And I listened to that, and I was saying, well, that must be a young basketball team because young teams perform better at home than on the road. Old teams, I'm just curious. Scott, do you remember our record on the road last year in a really weird year where you had to play everybody back-to-back at the same weekend? You remember our record last year on the road?
I don't, but I imagine it was impressive because there was guys that
it was 8-0.
Yeah,
we were 8-0 on the road, and that was to win back-to-back in the same on the road is like impossible. I'm not sure how many teams went undefeated on the road last year in that kind of format. You got an old team. Old teams can be successful on the road. Young teams have a more difficult time, and that's not an excuse. That's kind of reality. But looking back on it, it's easy to point fingers at the end of the game. We're up 5, we can't get a rebound. But there's plenty of times in that game where you missed a layup here and you missed a layup there, and you missed a box out here, and you raised here, and they went to the foul line, I think, 32 times, and that's one thing that's a non-negotiable for us. We don't foul, and we did, and it's heartbreaking. Scott, you were there.
Yeah.
We should have, could have, up 5 in the first overtime, and with under a minute to go. And last year, our team would have laughed at that. They would have said, "Well, down 5 with under a minute to go, we're still going to win the game, coach." And this year's team's just having a tough time getting through it. But every experience is a learning experience, and you have to take it as that. And that's what we're doing. And we've got great attitudes. We've had 2 great days of practice, so we're ready to play tonight.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'll say about this year's team is that when something does happen like this, the loss at Auburn Montgomery, you guys, the team seems to come back, practice really well, and respond in the next outing.
it's called being young and dumb. Us old people, we stress and we worry and we stress about everything. Yet young guys, by the time you probably hit Birmingham, that's already past them and they're ready to play again. And older guys, we dwell on it and dwell on it and dwell on it. But we had good meetings. We had good film sessions on Monday. We had good practice Monday. We actually went out and watched the American Underdog and the Kurt Warner story on Monday night, which was fun for our team. And we got to remember that this is a basketball game, and they're in college, and it's supposed to be fun at times, not so stressful that you can't function and letting everybody down. That's not the purpose of this. So we're learning lessons as we go, and we're really looking forward. But, Scott, you were there. Just be honest to everybody listening. AUM had 2 guards that just happened to use their COVID year, and now they're super seniors that have played. Number 4, Hart, was 1,000-point Division I scorer, and he ends up at AUM in his 5th year, and so he's played probably 140 basketball games when our point guards have played like 16. And that's give the experience to them, and they beat us, and no matter how it worked, they beat us, and we just got to keep learning from it.
Well, tonight it's Montevallo coming to Spraggins Hall, and
no lack of motivation there, Coach.
Yeah, similar to this Auburn-Montgomery team. You guys led at half against Montevallo, and then the wheels come off, and, things just, it was a very teachable, learning second-half moment from Montevallo. I'm sure.
Absolutely. That was we remember that well, but how do we respond to that? We got beat on that Thursday night. We came back and we beat Shorter by 40 at Shorter. And Shorter just beat Mississippi College at Mississippi College last week. So at Shorter, Shorter just beat Mississippi College. That's the fun thing about coming to our game college is that last week. You never know at Shorter. Shorter just beat Mississippi College. The fun thing about our game is that you never know at Shorter. Shorter just beat Mississippi College. The fun thing about our game you never know Shorter just beat Mississippi College. You never know because like I said, West Florida is leading the league, and we were up 35 on West. So figure that one out. CBU just swept West Florida and Valdosta this past weekend, and we were up 35 on CBU the majority of the game. So figure all that out and let me know the answers, and then I'll put you on staff. How about that?
Basketball can just be a really funny game, Coach. There's no doubt about it.
How about that?
Basketball can just be I wanted to ask you, though, about a young guy who's really trying to learn a position. A lot of this is because of, an injury to Nylan Thomas, a young guy that we know is from our area, Austin Leslie from Westminster Christian Academy. You're in a way on the fly trying to teach this young man how to play the point guard position. I know he had a big turnover late in the game against AUM. How do you continue to help this young man not lose his confidence when he's trying to learn a position that, in effect, he's never really played a lot of in his career?
Drew, that's a great point. I'll tell you this: it's really not fair of me to put him in that spot. No one wants to be in that spot if you're not ready to play that spot. So that's not his fault. That's my fault. And it's my fault that we had to put him in that position. And it was, listen, there is nobody that cares more about our program than Alton Leslie. And there's no one that cares more about his teammates than Alton Leslie. This is one of the elite human beings in the world. And so for him to have that experience the other night was not his fault. It's my fault. And so we've got to be patient. And we've got to do a better job of putting him in situations that we know he can be successful in. I'll just tell you this: he's gotten a whole lot better. He's got a whole lot more playing time and feels a lot more comfortable. But we just got to do a better job of putting him in positions that he feels comfortable in. And putting him in that one was my fault, completely my fault, and not his.
And then the wheels come off.
We just got to keep on working.
I mean,
He's had two really good days of practice. And West Florida, we're just trying to figure it out on the fly. But when you have injuries, that's what happens. And when you got young guys. You know, my first year at Chattanooga,
really funny game, Coach.
Won 20 games. We went into the tournament. Should have beat Wake Forest like Mississippi College. You look back at that Mississippi College team, and you got Shorter just beat Mississippi College. Shorter about 30, 31 games, something like that. Shorter just we really had 31 at Mississippi lineups that were the same as their starting lineup. We never had Mississippi College started anybody but our guys. So we had great stability. You never. You show me a team that's trying to figure out their starting lineup, and you're. You show me a team that's not having an unbelievable success. I'm just trying to figure out. Show me a team that's not having an unbelievable success. I'm just trying to figure out. Show me a team that's period. This year we're still searching, and that's okay. At least we're searching, and we hadn't thrown in the white towel.
And you look at tonight's game and the game against Shorter, Coach, we're getting down to that time where you look at the standings, and wins are important. You do have to look at them because the conference tournament is quickly approaching. You got these two games, and then next week's two big games on the road. So a chance for this team to really position itself if it wants to experience some postseason basketball.
Absolutely. And they're becoming, they're becoming vital. But what do you do with a young team? I don't know if, hey, man, we have to win tonight. What do you do with a young team? Listen, here's what we have to do. Hey, man, we have to win. We have to stay down defensively. We have to box out. We have to do a better job of guarding in the post. We've got to do a better job of guarding one-on-one. If we will do that, all that stuff translates to having success. You can't look at the big picture first. You got to look at the little picture. Are we getting good shots? Are we taking care of the ball? Are we getting the shots that we want? And are we doing what we're supposed to do that we do every single day in practice defensively? If we'll do that, and listen, you've seen us play the last two games. If we'll just fix one person, fix one mistake, then we've won 4 in a row, and we're a hot basketball team. So we're close. It's not like we're getting you get beat 20 on the road, and you get beat 20 in your game. You're going, boy, you're just not good enough. We just got beat one at the buzzer, and we just got beat in double overtime. We are close, and I know that, and I'm listening to the correct voices.
You really are. And, Coach, I know you don't want to give away the game plan, but I know you've been going back and watched the film against Montevallo, the missed opportunities in the second half. What adjustments do you make against Danny Young's team to protect the home floor and get a win against a good team and, again, get the mojo going and get the confidence back?
Well, what they did to us there is they hurt us a little bit doubling in the post, and we threw it inside, and then we threw it to them. They doubled us, and we threw it to them, and we've ever since that game, we've really done a good job of trying to get prepared against double teams in the post. And if people are doubling in the post, that means that their other 3 guys are guarding your 4 guys. So who's getting who's spacing on the perimeter, and that's what we've done a really good job of lately. And we worked on it again the last 2 days. And so we're going to be who we are. We're going to change defenses. We're going to press. We're going to play a little zone. We're going to play a little man. We're going to throw that thing inside and play inside out. And we're just awfully happy to be back in Spraggins, and we need a huge crowd. These kids are young kids, and they need great positive energy tonight. And I know Scott brings it. Scott is the most positive, smiley, happy person I've ever seen in my life. And so he brings that to our locker room. He brings that to me at halftime.
I'm not going to be there tonight, Coach. I'm on the sideline tonight. I'm not going to be there.
Uh-oh.
Scott, you're not going to be at our game tonight?
No, I can't. Look, there are certain dates that I can miss, and the wife's birthday is not one of them.
You're picking your wife over Charger basketball.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you might have to have dinner and then bring her to Charger basketball tonight, Scott.
I'm really looking forward to talking to Drew on the sidelines tonight. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
No, I do. I will be back on Saturday and then for the road trip next week. But yes,
last time I learned, happy wife, happy life. So I think you're making an unbelievable decision tonight.
Yes, and it's one that I learned that sometimes. I learned it sometimes the hard way. I'll just say that sometimes.
With a long career in television,
I think we've all learned it the hard way. So
yes, the
happy
couch
wife,
is
happy life. You better take care of the balls at home. Absolutely.
Yep. The couch. I did not want to feel the couch.
No, he did not. And Coach, but as we're wrapping it up here, what in your mind, what is the key to getting this win tonight?
Well, we got to go score the ball. We got to score the ball. We executed great. We were just out of whack over there, and so we got to score the ball. But defensively, we gave up a bunch of threes over there. They got great guards. They got old, experienced guards, and they can put 4 really good guards on the court. And great guards win games. And so, we've got good guards, but I don't know if you can be a great guard your first year playing really in college basketball. You just got to get. But listen, it's past January. We're at the end of January. We got to grow up, and we have. And so we got to have great guard play. We got to go score the ball inside. It would be nice to go get an offensive rebound. I think that's something that Montevallo kind of will give up on occasion. We got to get to the glass. And then we got to just do more right things. One more right thing, and we're happy people. So everybody's got a responsibility to do one more right thing, and that is staying down defensively. That is boxing out. That is filling a gap on penetration and either taking a charge or stealing the ball. One more right thing. Got it? You got that, Drew?
Yes, sir. One more right thing. And the right thing is 7:30 tonight. Montevallo coming to Spraggins Hall. The Chargers needing to get this win to get rolling and stay hot at home. And John Shulman, we always enjoy your time and your insight. And thank you for joining us to talk some Charger basketball this morning on Talkin Ball.
Hey, Scott Tyson's the only one that's excused from coming to the game tonight.
I'm coming. I will be there.
35,000 people tonight. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Keep plugging us hard. Keep pumping us, and hopefully we'll see everybody tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
John Shulman with us, and today's interview brought to you by Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Make sure you give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience the Sportsmed difference. Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives.
Well, you won't be there, but I will.
Yep.
I will be there to make up for your presence there.
The last time we missed one, and we had to miss one earlier this year because we went to Indianapolis for the national championship.
Yes, that's right.
game.
That's right.
That was the performance that they beat shorter by
40.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be there again tonight. So if they win by 40 again, could be in trouble.
I'll text you. I'll let you know. I'll give you updates.
I could be in trouble. But anyway, all right. So they do play tonight, and they play on Saturday, 4:00 on Saturday. They need both of these games, do the Chargers. So get on out there and watch them. Hopefully a big crowd tonight for the Montevallo game. Let's get a break in. When we come back, hour 1 of Talking Ball, we'll wrap it up.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on the Parkway now. Sounds like it's going to be on the southbound side, south of Sparkman. Sound like an injury-type accident there. Everything else looking good this morning. No other problems that we see. All the other wrecks from earlier have been cleared out of the way. Affected by the CPAP recall, Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
You in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today. 256-755-1556 or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
You are an electric vehicle. It's true. Electricity powers your heart. Want to feel your heartbeat faster? Drive an electric car. Made by Nissan, a company whose EVs have gone 5 billion miles. Built for every driveway, every highway, and every speedway. And where the loudest sound is the beat of your electric heart. Nissan. Electric cars for electric drivers. 5 billion miles driven by Leaf owners globally since 2010.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, let's get out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline coming out of break, 256-576-4977. Richard with us on a Wednesday morning. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. I was going to kind of answer Brandon's question.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You know, the Nate Oates offense is basically shoot a three or go to the, basically go to the hole, go to the rim, and, and lay it in, short shot or get fouled. And basically, he does not believe in post-ups. I mean, you could have thrown it into Bediaco, but he would have scored once in every 3 times. But it's all based on percentage. And then the crazy thing I'm going to say is, and I watched most of the game. I missed the first few minutes because of the crazy start time. But a lot of the turnovers were turning down threes. And you could understand, like you said, Quinley was 1 of 7. Yeah. But it's kind of like a football play. If the play is designed to go to the right, you go to the right. And these plays were designed to either get a three or drive to the hoop. But Georgia basically is a bad defensive team and gave up, open threes. And, the guys missed them, and they basically were hesitant to shoot. So, therefore, they forced drives or forced passes, that weren't there, which is what led to the turnovers, was not, basically doing what the offense, was supposed to do, which you may have missed a three, but that's what was open.
Yeah, you got to take what they give you. You got to execute. Yeah. And reading all the hot takes from the idiots who say that it doesn't work and it's not sound. It does work. They used the exact same thing last year. He won with it at Buffalo. It was a rough first year, but a lot of times that happens when you're taking over program.
The first year, though, you have to think Herb, had one hand.
Yeah, they were the injuries, yeah.
He was hurt first game of the season, taking a charge and missed several games. And then he finally got back and was playing great. And, and Watford undercut him, down in Baton Rouge. And then Petty got hurt late in the year. And the kid from West Virginia, the little guard, was hurt all year. Yeah, they didn't let Quinterly play. But that team would have actually made the tournament if everybody would have been healthy. Then you actually had Gary and Rojas out all year.
Yeah, that's true. The 2 ACL injuries. So
they would have.
Yeah, you're right.
They would have made the tournament. I think this year is just basically last year. You could put, you can't play 7 guys, but you could put 7 guys on the floor that could hit a three out. And like Quinterly would come in, and you'd have Petty, Reese, Bruner, Primo out to where he could go to the hole every time. You couldn't, they couldn't just stop
to space the floor, yeah.
Space the floor. And then this year, Georgia basically, just kind of laughed at them, and there's a reason for it when you can't hit a three, but that's what the offense is designed to do, unfortunately. And part of it, too, is you're not getting steals. It's just not a good defensive team.
The transition is my point, Richard. You've got to be able to guard harder and get out in transition and force turnover. And if you don't turn it over yourself and you turn those live ball turnovers from 19 to, 10 or 11, that's more possessions, and that turns it around. I still think the magic number for this team offensively is 80 points. Because even with these shooting issues, and you saw it in the second half against Mizzou, they didn't turn it over against Mizzou. They took care of it, and they end up with 50 points in the half, and they score 86 points.
Well, part of it, too, is just playing smart. Because, mainly Georgia wasn't scoring baskets. They were getting fouled. And,
right.
Just dumb. Like what blew the game was we had a 4-point lead, and Davidson fouls a 3-point shooter.
You can't do that, yeah.
Basically he had missed it. He hit him on the follow-through, so it was already out of his hands, so it had nothing to do with the shot. And, we had the board.
Thanks, Richard. We
Appreciate
are
it,
up
Richard.
against that
Thank
break.
you.
It is the end of hour number 1 of Talking Ball. When we come back, some absurd tweets from yesterday, one dealing with college basketball. It'll blow your mind. Plus, Major League Baseball, the Hall of Fame ballot announced. A lot of controversy there. A lot to get to in hour number 2.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Here's another listing from the 97.7 ESPN The Zone job board. Automation Personnel Services is looking for forklift operators in the Madison area. This warehouse position can earn $18 an hour for day shifts and $20 for nights. Learn more at 977ESPN.com. Does your business have positions it needs filled? Contact 97.7 ESPN The Zone today to get your openings announced on the 97.7 ESPN The Zone job board. Just email Joe at abrahambroadcasting@gmail.com.
Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Got a couple of wrecks now. Parkway southbound south of Sparkman. That one has a motorcycle involved with an injury. And we got one in Madison southbound on County Line at New Bristol.
Their fourth straight title game, and the LA Rams a 3.5-point favorite at home against the San Francisco 49ers. NBA awards, Draymond Green the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year at -110, Rudy Gobert behind him at +175, Tyler Hero -600 for Sixth Man of the Year, Kelly Oubre at +1600 for Most Improved Player, Ja Morant the -300 favorite, Miles Bridges at +650. The 2022 Farmers Insurance Open underway today, John Rahm the favorite +700, Justin Thomas at +1600, Xander Schauffele third best odds at +1800.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back to Talkin Ball. It is hour number 2. We got a lot of stuff to get to in hour number 2. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, and this was, I saw some of these tweets, and some of these people just absolutely kill me. Dominique Yates, who is a reporter for a TV station up in Louisville, Chris Mack is out as Louisville head coach.
Well, they think he's out. I don't think it's official, though, right?
They're buying. The agreement is apparently they're close to the financial settlement and everything. Like
right, because they've been struggling. Yeah,
yeah, and the NCAA stuff with him, and there's a multitude of stuff with Chris Mack going back to last year, where the assistant coach was going to extort money out of him and tell everything within the program if Chris Mack didn't pay him and all that other stuff. But that's not why I bring it up.
Yeah.
Because Dominique Yates, this is just crazy. He puts out there, says, if Chris Mack is gone, here's some of the names that of interest. Kenny Payne, Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, and Nate Oates.
But the only thing I have a question. I understand Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates for what they're doing inside this state.
Yeah.
I don't understand Will Wade at all.
No.
How can you put a guy on now Kenny Payne, he's in the NBA. He's been getting Calipari players for years at Kentucky, so I understand where his name's coming from. But Will Wade is a cheat. There is no doubt. He's on tape saying he pays more than the G League. And
you're not going to hire him
why would you hire Will Wade, who if this stupid investigation ever wraps up, and then LSU finishes a season where they lose 3 or 4 in a row, all LSU is going to do is what Arizona did to Sean Miller. They're going to hide behind it and say, well, we didn't get, the results we really wanted, so you're fired.
Yeah.
But let's not misunderstand something. Sean Miller got fired mainly because his program eroded because he was in the middle of the investigation. And right now, LSU's not playing good, okay? I'm just saying, but why is Will Wade's name coming? Why
this guy here? That's why I brought
Rick,
it up.
we know how Rick Pitino finished at Louisville. You just mentioned Chris Mack having issues too.
Yes.
Off the go. You're gonna hire Will Wade with all that around? You are not.
That's why I brought that tweet up because
that's just stupid.
That's a reporter there that has no clue because you don't put Will Wade's name in there with a program.
Now, you do Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl, and I know Bruce Pearl's been in trouble in his career, even all the way back to his time as an assistant. But Auburn's number one, okay? That's why
a couple
name
years
like
ago,
that come
maybe,
up.
But Bruce Pearl right now, I think he's not going to make a move now.
And Nate Oates is not leaving Alabama for Louisville, even though some of the Alabama fans would stupidly want him to, even though he just signed the number one recruiting class at Alabama in the history of the program. But they're too busy, football microwave mentality. We lost one game. We got to get rid of it. We're not going to go anywhere. They're 13-7, idiots. They're not 2-18. Shut up.
The other, I guess you could say, dumb tweet that I saw is from Art Stapleton, who's a beat writer for the New York Giants. And he says, one name that I've heard mentioned as an offensive coordinator possibility if Brian Flores were to land as head coach of the Giants, Bill O'Brien. He goes on to say, not the only choice, obviously, and no guarantee that it would happen, but names are always fun. And the offensive coordinator is absolutely a big part of Flores' candidacy.
Well, I'm just going to tell you something. Bryce Young, Heisman, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jermaine Burton, New York Giants, manure. That's what is on the other. You don't even have anybody. Who are the Giants got? They suck. You don't go to the Giants. You're not just going to transform Daniel Jones into a quarterback. They're not any good. I mean, whatever. I mean,
well, the reason
Saquon
why
Barkley, I guess, is, but you don't have any weapons.
The reason why he brought up O'Brien's name was because Flores is in love with Deshaun Watson as quarterback. Bill O'Brien coached Deshaun Watson, so that's why they're linking those two names there.
Well, I just got another question. Draft capital wise, what does the Giants have to trade for Deshaun Watson? Huh? Philadelphia has the draft capital, okay? Right. I don't think the New York Giants do. They already stink.
The other big story, not big story, the other one that I came across is that you can probably add a lot more to this. Kamar Wheaton. A lot of speculation that he is no longer a part of the program at Alabama.
We're going to talk to Chris Hummer of 24/7 Sports this hour. He's in charge of their transfer portal. He reported this. Said he's not in the student directory. He's not on the roster. I had heard a few days ago he cleaned out his locker. Before that, at the national championship game, just talking to sources close to sources, whatever you want to say, that I know that I trust, is that he's having issues. He's had issues the entire time. It almost sounds like Alvin Kamar's long-lost cousin, where when Alvin was at Alabama, he got hurt his knee during his time that he was going to have to redshirt. Wheaton did the same thing. And then Kamara, he'll admit it to you. was too immature emotionally, got frustrated, did some stupid stuff, got booted by Saban, ended up in a JUCO in Kansas, signed with a champion of life, Butch Jones. Didn't have a great career at Tennessee because they didn't know how to use him, but did enough to be a third-round pick of the now retired Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Became a really good pro, one of the highest-paid running backs in the NFL. But I'm just saying, Kamar Wheaton, his short time at Alabama, he flashed in practice before getting hurt. People were talking about his talent. But, again, I had someone ask me yesterday, well, is Alabama going to go back in the portal for a running back? No, because guess what? They went into the portal and they got Jahmyr Gibbs. We've already talked about it. They got Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams coming off of injuries. They got Emmanuel Henderson and Jamarian Miller coming in as freshmen. And then they've got Trey Sanders returning too. They've still got 6 running backs on scholarship. So
that's similar to when Kamara was there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a
100%.
There was a stable of running backs like Derrick Henry.
Somebody named Derrick. They've got plenty of running backs.
Yeah.
Some of these kids don't want to compete. They're not mature enough. They just the first sign of adversity, they cut and run. And Kamara may be just like Alvin Kamara. He may go on to have a good career elsewhere, and then by the time he gets to the NFL, become a superstar. The kid has great talent. He's like a 5-star talent, but sometimes you got one ball, man, and you can't keep all these guys satisfied. We'll talk to Chris about that, but yeah, it looks like Kamar Wheaton is gone. I don't think he'll come back. He has not officially, quote unquote, gone into the portal, but it just sounds like that's just a formality. And what it does, though, Alabama, I think we even talked about this on the show this week. They're over the number, okay? Right now, as far as – now, they don't have to manage these numbers till after the spring going into the fall. But right now, they got over 85 on scholarship. So all it does is I still have been saying that I thought a handful of guys would still transfer because they may make more room for, maybe a couple more portal additions, depending on how the roster looks after spring. So Kamar Wheaton's just going to be one of these guys that, again, sometimes it's addition by subtraction. If a guy – and it was with Kamara. Kamara was telling people at Alabama when he got booted not to come to the school. He was telling recruits, hey, don't come here. You're never going to play. They're going to lie to you. Just doing all kind of stupid stuff. And so, I mean, I'm not saying Wheaton's doing that, but I'm just talking about being immature as a young kid. And I just don't think, he's in a Shark Tank. He hasn't responded well. He's probably really frustrated because he's hurt, because you can't get out there. You can't showcase your talent. And then he looks at, there's 7 running backs on scholarship if he stays. Like, I got to get over all these guys instead of just saying, well, if I bust my tail and I show my talent, I'll get a chance to play. He's not, and he's going to leave. So, bye-bye, and, on to the next one.
So right now, Chris Hummer will join us from 24/7 Sports here in just a little bit. But just to show you, National Signing Day is quickly approaching. That is the spring or the second signing period. We had the early one in December, and we have this one in February. But obviously, a big eye is now on the transfer portal rankings. And they rank the classes of transfer portals.
They have to now, Lord.
Right now, here's the thing. You can survive on the transfer portal for 1 year. I think you can. It's not a sustainable thing. Right now, since the beginning of August, 1,350 scholarship players and 1,900 total players have been in the transfer portal on the FBS level. Both coming and going, but who has been the biggest benefactor? I don't want to say benefactor, but who has signed the most so far? LSU has signed 11 players out of the transfer portal. Brian Kelly has gotten 11 players out of the portal so far.
Well, he has to, because their recruiting class has been pretty good, but it's a new staff. And, they held on to some of those guys, but they had so many leave for the NFL. They had their own guys leaving, Elijah Ricks, in the transfer portal to go elsewhere. To refurbish their team, they had to attack the portal, aggressively. They're still in it for Caleb Williams, wherever that goes. I don't know. We're going to ask Chris Hummer about that. What is the latest with Caleb Williams, who is the number 1 transfer, who was at Oklahoma?
You bring up Caleb Williams
right,
because his former head coach
Lincoln Riley
is at USC.
Right.
Lincoln Riley has signed 12 players out of the transfer portal, including former Alabama linebacker Shane Lee and Auburn linebacker Romeo Height.
Yeah, Romeo Height, the pass rusher. What's the common denominator of those two teams, huh?
Which one, Oklahoma and USC?
Yeah.
Neither one of them played defense?
No. Well, besides that. And they'll play defense now that Brent Venables is there. Is new coaches.
Oh, okay.
That's true. In LSU, it's all these places where you've had new coaches go in. You had teams being really aggressive in the portal, and even if it's not a first year coach, from the standpoint of it's a Brian Harsin who's going into his second year. We already talked about Harsin and changing over half of his coaching staff, and Auburn having deficiencies at offensive line that they've had, with how Gus Malzahn recruited for his last few years at Auburn. They're having to be aggressive in the portal as well. And because you figure out after your first year, some guys are just not fitting in your program. Like obviously Romeo Height, he goes to USC from Auburn. There's a lot of times Kobe Hudson, he leaves Auburn to go to UCF. You figure out, okay, these guys are not going to be here long term. These are not quote unquote my guys. And they go play somewhere else. So most of that list of the transfer portal is all first and second year coaches who are trying to establish their program. Look at Gus Malzahn. He's going into his second year at UCF. Yep. Everybody from Auburn in the portal, I'm telling you, come on down. You're the next contestant on Come back home and play for Gus.
Come ride the Gus bus.
Right.
Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin have signed 8 guys out of the
second-year
transfer
coach
portal. Sam Pittman, 6 guys out of the transfer portal.
Or third year, excuse me.
Florida State, Mike Norvell has signed 10 guys so far.
And they stink.
Out of the transfer portal.
They just stink. They had to. They're not even – their recruiting class. Your best player went to Jackson State, okay, who you had Travis Hunter, who you had committed for 2 years. You got to go in the portal and get some experienced guys because you stink. And Mike Norvell's on the clock. This Florida State program.
Scott Frost is on the clock in Nebraska. He has signed 11 guys so far.
That's the third.
Transfer portal.
You just answered it, Scott. That's the third deal. It's one, a coaching change where you have a first-year coach and they're trying to fill the holes. 2, it's a second-year coach where guys don't fit and you're going into your second year and you're trying to get your guys. And 3, you just talked about it. I'm telling you, it's either you're about to get fired, so you're going out there and you're like, we got to go down swinging, we got to flip our roster.
Used to be coaches would go to the JUCO ranks to do that. You would try the quick fix. You would bring in some JUCO guys.
But now you can bring them in, and they're just experienced on the Power 5 or Division I level.
Yep. Shane Beamer, another second-year coach who has brought in 7 guys out of the transfer portal so far.
And see, the thing about that is, you think about Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
They won their bowl game, a lot of momentum. They beat North Carolina. And remember, they just fell flat against Clemson at the end of the regular season. But then you get Spencer Rattler, you get Stogner, you get all these guys, and everybody's fired up. And now they are.
They got, Love C. Carroll, the running back out of Georgia as well. If you go down the list, Billy Napier has signed 6 guys out of the transfer portal so far. And to your point, that's a first-year head coach.
And we know how bad Florida was at the end. They stunk.
Yep. All right, so that is your some good transfer portal information right there. And Alabama, 3 guys, 4 guys?
3.
Transfer portal.
3
so 3
right now. Yeah. Jermaine Burton, Elijah Ricks, Jahmyr Gibbs, all arguably at the top of their positions in the transfer portal. Alabama's cherry-picked. Now, again, I'm not sure Alabama's done. I wouldn't be surprised if they signed a couple of more for key spots. As I've said, the positions to watch are, to me, offensive tackle, defensive line, potentially another wide receiver. People keep talking about tight end, but if Amari Niblack is the real deal in the spring and can play, you've already brought back good Kendall Randolph, our good friend from Bob Jones, who I still think will be a tight end. He'll probably get a chance to compete at offensive tackle, but already that he can be an outstanding run-blocking tight end, then I think Alabama's going to be okay there because they got Cam Latu back. I think they're going to be fine with Niblack coming in because I really think he's a unique talent. But again, we'll see. And Alabama's trying to sign another high school tight end, Danny Lewis, kid out of Westgate in Louisiana. Watch that one. So I'm just saying Alabama is trying to address the tight end spot, maybe without the transfer portal. There has been rumors about Darnell Washington from Georgia going into the portal, but that has not happened. So again, I think the tight end is. I think Alabama's probably going to be in solid shape there after spring. Okay. But, that's just something you're going to have to continue to watch. But, again, I think Alabama's going to sit back, assess where they are after spring practice, and that may be where some more transfer portal additions go. And we saw it last year, Scott. That's the next wave of guys going into the portal. Is you're going to go through spring at your spot. Okay, do I like where I'm at after spring? Do I not? If I don't, I'm going into the portal.
Feeling like you're going to be down in the depth chart, not get playing time.
Or say what we just talked about, the new coach. Say you're playing for a new coach.
You don't
go through
like
spring,
it.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this new staff. Adios, amigo. I'm getting out of here.
Yep.
So we'll see.
All right, I tell you what, let's get that break in. Because when we come back, we can expand the conversation. Chris Hummer will join us as we delve more into the transfer portal and Kamar Wheaton when we return.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Working around.
And in-house financing is available. If you have a job, Mercury Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit MercurySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Hey there, UAH fans. I'm Morris Lilienthal. If you've been injured in an accident, visit morristheattorney.com right now to get the help you need. Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you. I have personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims, and I'm ready to help you too. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 5-star Google reviews. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. Look forward to helping you. Go Chargers.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's time for some straight talk. Some choices don't require a brain, like getting the new iPhone 11 with the ultra-wide camera. Do you want an expensive plan with a contract or an affordable plan with no contract? Like I said, a no-brainer. Why pay more for the same network? Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get a plan that's up to half the cost of big carriers, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
All right, welcome back to Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It is 8:26 on a Wednesday morning. Before we went to break, we were talking about the transfer portal and who has been really active in the transfer portal in the Power 5, not Group of 5, because there have been a lot of teams on the Group of 5 level that have been really active as well in the transfer portal. But these were just the Power 5 teams that have been active. A lot of it first-year, second-year head coaches, and a lot of it coaches that are really on the extreme hot seat, a la Scott Frost, Mike Norvell, those type of guys, those coaches that are starting to feel that pressure, that need to bring in some guys to get that instant turnaround if they can make it work. A lot of news there to talk about.
Yeah, no question. Our next guest, he's based in Texas. He's been on the show, a few times during, his tenure with 24/7 Sports. We featured him. He does a great job. He's actually an outstanding features writer. If you've kept up with his work, long-form stuff in college football. But with this changing landscape, and you can read it on his Twitter account, he's still
heavily in the mix or not, but their likely OC hire has a lot of connections to Caleb. Now, and I think a lot of coaches are also wondering when he'll eventually decide.
No question about it. I would still favor USC and Lincoln Riley. We'll see if that's the case. USC has been very aggressive in the portal. But before we talk about that, and you guys are ranking the classes now because you almost have to, through the portal and the schools that are the most aggressive. But you did break the story yesterday about Kamar Wheaton at Alabama. You have, as you just mentioned, you have great sources at 24/7 Sports. Tell us what you're hearing and delving into that. We have not heard Kamar's name officially go into the portal yet, but for several weeks now I've heard he was having issues and that he may very well be moving on. But for our listeners who, of course, we have a huge Alabama audience here, talk about that situation that's developing.
Yeah, I know Kamar's been a bit of a mystery for Alabama fans, even dating back to his recruitment.
Yeah, it was a crazy process. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, when he just picked the Tide. I think Kamar is a really talented guy. I think he made a really strong impression at Alabama early on. He looked like he would be in the rotation, or at least potentially be a rotation player this year. But then he suffered a knee injury. And I think being away from the team is difficult when you lack that structure.
Yeah.
I think he's got some family issues at home in terms of one being sick. I think there's a lot of things going on with Kamar. Ultimately, we're going to make it a tough fit at Alabama. So I have no idea what he's going to do next. He is not in the transfer portal, as you said. I can confirm that. So we'll see what happens. I hope he does well. He's a really talented guy, and I hope he can get it figured out.
One of the busy teams that you guys have had to watch has been Brian Kelly and his start at LSU.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, they're still but Brian Kelly wasting no time trying to fill a lot of those roster spots with transfer portal guys.
Yeah, you almost have to. I think LSU was down to like 40-something scholarships.
Man.
When Ed Orgeron left, I don't think like the actual numbers were that bad. They weren't going to be there eventually, but with injuries and transfer portal guys. So they have it's not like a rebuilding job because LSU is still one of the more talented rosters in the country, but they had a lot of holes to fill. And this offseason, you get an extra 7 via the transfer portal thanks to the NCAA's rule change. So I think LSU is taking full advantage. And I think it's really tough in a transition class for coaches to make sure you take good high school takes. LSU has a really solid base there, obviously, with like Walker Howard and stuff like that. Like they have some really highly rated high school kids, but I think it's a safer play to take proven college players as a transition class than it would be to reach on high school players, especially when you're only coming in with a month or two to evaluate and sign them.
Do you think there will be some kind of legislation, or will they step in and change these transfer portal rules in the next year or so, or is this going to be the trend that we see over college football? What's your feeling there?
I mean, I know a lot of coaches would certainly like the rules changed. I've heard a lot of people talk about transfer windows, maybe one after spring and one after the season. I think even that has its issues. You have a really difficult time, in my opinion, putting transfer windows on non-employees. Like these players, as we should all remember, are not under contract except for their NLI. I always get these acronyms confused at this point. So that's a legal hurdle. I think that would be difficult on teams without as many resources as well if you put a transfer window there. But I certainly think something needs to be done. The transfer portal, I wouldn't say it's out of control right now because it was kind of like putting a car without brakes out there and expecting something different. That's just what we had. But it's certainly a system that's very chaotic right now. I think a lot of players are hurting themselves by entering the portal with as little information as they have. And there's a lot of teams essentially processing players right now. So I think something needs to be done. What that could be, I'm honestly not sure. But I think there will be some solutions pitched this year. I just don't know if anything's going to happen immediately.
And Chris, we were talking about this before you came on the previous segment. We were kind of looking at the list that you guys have ranked the top portal classes so far, and part of it also is guys like a Scott Frost, or even a Mike Norvell. Some of these guys, these coaches that could be in trouble, that could be on the hot seat. They're trying the quick fix, and as Scott, mentioned and pointed out, it used to be okay, go out and sign 5 JUCOs, but now with the portal doing what it's doing, you can go out and get experienced Power 5 or FBS guys, and FCS guys to come in. It's become the quick fix formula for some of these coaches that could be on the hot seat going into next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of your last ditch opportunity to address your roster. And I mean, still think those can have consequences long term. We saw, this is a different example, but we saw Charlie Weiss, as you said, load up on JUCO guys at Kansas, and it essentially ruined their roster balance for a decade after that. I think Lance Leopold is finally close to 85 scholarships again after 3 coaches essentially sank and swam with Charlie Weiss's decisions with roster management at that point. And it's very similar with the transfer portal. I've had multiple people tell me that once you commit to taking like 8 to 10 transfers a cycle, you have to keep taking 8 to 10 transfers a cycle. Otherwise, your roster will be imbalanced in terms of experience. You would either have a boatload of freshmen and sophomores and no upperclassmen, or you'd have a boatload of upperclassmen and no freshmen and sophomores for your future. So once you commit to a heavy portal strategy, you're in a heavy portal strategy, and you have to keep hitting on those portal players. But in the short term, certainly it could be a great way to bridge the gap and kind of save your job, because you can add experience depth in a way that we did not have an option to 5 years ago without the transfer portal.
Yeah, and I saw you tweeted this yesterday too. I was that's part of what I was referencing when you came on. He's in, he's out, he's in. Tyron Hopper of Florida, I believe he's gone in twice and removed himself once, but now he's back in the portal, and he's on a visit to Missouri. He's got, and you can detail it, but you pointed out the connection there, and that also there's another SEC school that could be involved.
Yeah, Tyron Hopper was at Missouri yesterday for a visit. His cousin, Tyrone Hopper, which is a little confusing, plays for Missouri. He just transferred there from North Carolina. So I think Missouri's going to make a hard push there. They certainly need the depth. They need the help at linebacker, and it would make a lot of sense. But also Auburn is going to be in the mix for Tyron Hopper. Christian Robinson was Tyron's linebacker coach at Florida. Really well-liked guy. I know Tyron really liked him as well. Auburn could also certainly need some help at linebacker, I think. So that's in play as well. The timeline is, as we talked about earlier, a little constricted right now. Kids have to get in for the spring semester if they're going to be there for the spring semester. So I don't anticipate Tyron's decision process stretching out very far. But I think those 2 schools are the ones to watch for him for sure.
Wow. It is definitely used to be this time of year we were focusing solely on guys that are coming out of high school for this second signing period, or the original signing period if you want to go back a couple years. Now it's all transfer portal. It's like it has its own holiday.
Yeah, it's really weird. We've got honestly, we're National Signing Day focused at 24/7 Sports. That's our bread and butter. But honestly, it really snuck off of me. My editor told me yesterday the National Signing Day is next Wednesday. It's way earlier than normal. And I was just like, are you kidding me? So we're scrambling a little bit on my end to get some stuff done. But, tune into 24/7 Sports next week. We'll have National Signing Day covered wall to wall.
Well, and Chris, before you go, too, I just saw this, and I know they're quoting you. So you got some info about Kamar Wheaton and a possible destination. He is from Texas. You're based out of Austin, so I know you, as you said, you followed his journey very closely. But and we also there's a tie to this program he could end up at, because they have a new first-year head coach that used to be at Auburn as OC, Red Ashley. Talk about the connection where Wheaton might end up.
Yeah, well, Kamar, I think Kamar, if he ends up entering the transfer portal, is going to stay close to home. So you're talking about SMU, TCU, maybe like a Baylor.
Yeah.
I would fully expect that. And SMU makes a lot of sense. He actually almost picked SMU the first time. I know that might sound crazy to some Alabama fans, but Rashad Samples, who's actually now at TCU, pushed him really hard, really great DFW area recruiter. He was really tight with Preston Stone, one of SMU's quarterbacks, a potential starter in the future. And there's a lot of connections to Kamar on that SMU staff currently with some of the hires they've made. So Steve Wolfong, national writer for us, the OG in the business, said SMU is the likely candidate to land Kamar once he lands in the transfer portal. And based on what I've heard, I agree on that as well. I think SMU has a really strong chance of adding Kamar if he does go in the portal.
There you go, Chris Hummer. Chris, let everybody know how to follow you because, again, you're a must-follow with the way the changing landscape in college football, what you're doing for 24/7 Sports. But we appreciate it, and just let everybody know how to follow your work.
Yeah, it's Chris_Hummer on Twitter, and we have everything over at 24/7. I really appreciate y'all guys having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back here, tomorrow's headlines today. Major League Baseball taking center stage.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I reckon Decatur, Point Mallard, and Country Club. That one had some southbound blockage, but it sounds like they've now moved vehicles over onto Country Club. Got County Line in New Bristol, southbound in Madison. That's south of Palmer Road. That one had an injury. It's going to take a little while to get it clear. Parkway south of Sparkman had a motorcycle involved with an injury. Still may be working on that one as well. Are you over 35 and overweight? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hometown Lenders was founded right here in North Alabama on old school principles. We like to call them the 4 processes: competitive pricing and, of course, the best people. It's why we're one of America's fastest growing mortgage lenders. We're now adding a 5th P, the Hometown Promise. If we don't close on time, you don't pay a dime. Yes, you heard that right. On time, every time, or we refund 100% of our fees.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Major League Baseball making headwaves or headlines, whatever you want to call it, going into this Wednesday, especially yesterday afternoon. The Baseball Writers Association elected just one player to the Hall of Fame yesterday in his first year on the ballot, David Ortiz, who was suspended for PEDs, makes it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling did not receive enough votes, so therefore they saw their 10th and final year on the ballot will not be in the Hall of Fame. Now, there's an outside chance they could get in later on a
Veterans Committee
vote,
thing?
the Veterans Committee vote. But right now, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling, not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, here's what I think has happened, too. First of all, this is what I think of David Ortiz. I think he's the greatest DH of all time. I think he's probably, and I know he is, the greatest clutch hitter of his generation based upon his career as a Red Sox.
Yes.
But you just talked about one time he did get busted for PED. But here's what he did, though. He just apologized. He didn't lie. He didn't say, I didn't do it. I didn't do this. What's killing Clemens and Bonds, and I don't feel sorry for him, is both of these lying, cheating, scumbag guys. They won't just – if they had just apologized and admitted what they did, I still think they'd have got in.
The likability factor.
The likability, the misremembering.
The Roger Clemens.
Throwing his wife under the bus. This guy is a scumbag.
Sitting there in Congress or sitting there in the congressional committee saying he never did anything.
And we all know what kind of person Barry Bonds is. That doesn't even need to be said. It doesn't mean I'm just talking about off the field, on the field.
But he had Hall of Fame numbers.
No, he did. I'll say that too.
Both
of these dudes, Okay? That's the argument you can make.
Yes.
I'm talking about Roger Clemens, who I used to admire before he got busted for this stuff, and Barry Bonds, even though I never liked Bonds. I thought he was an aloof jerk. But you couldn't question his talent. When he was with Pittsburgh and then early in his career with San Francisco, this is a dude. Both these guys were Hall of Famers before this.
Yes.
And you can make that argument viciously. And I think that's where a lot of people are bothered by it. I still think they're Hall of Fame players, but I'm just telling you why they're not in. I think because both of them were not transparent, and they didn't say, look, here's what we tried to do. Roger could have said, I had a lot of injury issues at one time. I was trying to come back from it. Bonds could have even said, well, I just felt like I needed an edge. I wanted to play until late in my career. And I still think if they had been forthcoming and sorry, they would have, and then same thing with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Both of them didn't come clean right away. Just apologize, man. People give you second and third opportunities all the time in sports, but they don't like liars.
Yep.
The lying is, especially sports writers, and I think that's why these two guys didn't get in. Now, I will say this. I'm bothered by Schilling not getting in. He was one of the greatest clutch pitchers of his era. He was never connected to steroids. I don't understand why Curt Schilling is not in.
Arizona Jay with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning. Good morning, sir.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
I didn't call and talk about baseball, but since you guys are on it, for the reason that you said, Drew, that the reason why they're not in is still stupid, and it's the reason why baseball is a has-been pro sport. I mean, just because when you're a beat writer and you're in a locker room and Barry Bonds and other people was a jerk to you, or you try to interview them, they came out butt naked. Oh, I'm not ever putting them in the Hall of Fame or whatever. That is stupid and it's petty. Then on top of that, if you want them to apologize, Major League Baseball needs to apologize for lying itself.
Yeah, that's 100% great point. That is a great point, Arizona Jay, because they look the other way.
Yeah, Major League Baseball knew they were doing it, and Major League Baseball almost died if they hadn't did it. So it's like, dude, you can't sit there and blame these three when the whole thing is to blame. So that's why Major League Baseball sucks. Donkey butt. Now,
the real reason you called.
The real reason, on to Auburn, basically. Did they win last night?
Yes.
Yes, by one.
Okay, you know what? I'm seeing it based on the consistency they're building over there, or down there, I should say, because we're in Huntsville. They're reminding me of Arizona. They remind me of my beloved Arizona basketball, where, like, I'm 47, and you know what? I can count on one hand the many times, and I still will have fingers left over, that we didn't make it to the NCAA tournament. And I see that's what Auburn is starting to build down there. Okay, no, they're not Kentucky, you know what I mean, which has nothing but one and done. You know what? That's going to bite them in the butt, like, because, with this name and likeness thing and everything, I don't have to go to your school and be a one and done, because I'm going to get paid even if I go to Willacoochee School of the Blind and play.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm still going to the pros the next year. So I think being that they're doing it without one and dones, and they might have some one and dones too, it's the consistency that they are building. They're reminding me of Arizona, to where when you guys are going to wake up when it's March Madness Selection Day or whatever, you're just going to wake up yawning, just like, yeah, just tell me what division Auburn's going to be in, because that's growing up for 47 years. That's how being an Arizona basketball fan was. It's like, all they selected, I was like, where are we? What are we ranked? Okay, yeah, cool. All right, tell me when the tournament starts. Call me day one. And they're probably going to have that culture here, like I grew up with, like, especially being in high school and elementary, like, the whole thing of March Madness going on, you're not really going to class. You're going to class, and the teacher has one of them old school TVs with the UHF dial and the other dial and a coat hanger for the antenna. You're not even doing classwork for a whole month. You're just watching the tournament. And God forbid Arizona's actually playing that day. That's the kind of culture that Auburn,
yep.
And as long as they have the coach down there, that's the type of culture you're going to have basketball-wise.
I remember those days. I remember those days sitting in science class, And Iowa would make the NCAA tournament, and they'd play like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
One of my worst memories.
But the teacher would have to wheel in the TV because it was always on the VCR cart, They'd have to wheel in the TV and make sure that you could actually get the antenna up there to get the CBS station.
Yeah.
And, man, it was a treat to watch college basketball at 1 o'clock in the afternoon during school.
I'll never forget.
Bro.
It was in middle school. Had a teacher. She was a big Alabama fan. We had the TV. It was the infamous South Alabama first-round game. We're hammering the Jags by like 15. Michael Ansley gets in foul trouble. I got to go home. I got to get home as fast as I can, get my ride or whatever. I get in front of the TV just in enough time to watch the second half. It's a disaster of epic proportions. And Peanut Butter and Jelly was the nickname of the backcourt. They were unbelievable. And I had to watch Ronnie Arrow run across the court like a jackass because they won and upset Alabama, and he's running around. And it was one of those things, they always show those montages every year. For about a decade, you had to watch Ronnie Arrow running around. And it was one of those games that always stuck in the craw of Wimp Sanderson. But it's those memories. It's exactly what Arizona Jay is talking about.
All right, bud. Thanks for the phone call.
All right, fellas.
That's going to do it for our 2 hours of fun. I remember those days. I remember every year during the tournament. And the thing is those TV carts were never small. Well, they were tall and they were big. They always had the VCR on them, and you had the TV.
VCR!
I need to find me a VCR. I really do.
Brandon, send us a Google link for Scott a VCR.
I can find a link for a VCR. I know how to run the internet. Maybe. That's going to do it for our Wednesday show.
Chris Hummer, John Shulman, thank you. We will be at Montevallo tonight while Scott is spending quality time with the wife.
Yes, thank you so much. Guys, we'll be back at it tomorrow, Thursday edition of Talkin Ball.